Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
This is Giddy Up, Tuesday, August the 5th. Big show ahead. Mitch, Beer, Will Freeman about to join us. I think Beery might be asleep. Good morning, Will.
Morning. I'm just about to get some feedback from some 2-year-olds. You can listen in.
No,
I've just got this is my last piece of work before I jump on with Bat. She was okay?
Yeah, no, that's pretty well. She went much better than the other one, but she's been longer than that.
Yeah, and she wanted to go a bit quicker the whole way.
Yeah.
All right, thanks. There you go.
What horse are we talking about there?
It's an Exceed and Excel filly that we bought in New Zealand. It's only a 2-year-old, just sort of putting a little bit of an acid test on a couple of them just to see how precocious they are. If they're not precocious enough now, they sort of go to the paddock, while there's probably only 1 or 2 that you go, okay, is it worth keeping them in for those races like the Breeders' Plate and the gym track? Like, we're getting to that point of the year. And if they're not that precocious, it doesn't mean they're useless. It just means they're not quite ready. Sort of like that kid that you're trying to find that kid that when he was like 9, 10 years old, used to go to little A's and just beat them by 30 metres. That's what you're looking for. And usually, if none of them, if there's no standout, they're all useless. So you're sort of hoping for a standout.
Love your work. While you're feeding up down there, Mitch Beer's in the line for a banh mi. Morning, Mitch.
I've just loaded up the float to go to Maruya. Thank you very much.
Very good. How many you got down at Maruya today?
1.
Just the one. Who goes around?
Yeah. Taking it, strapping it, the works.
What?
You don't charge for strapping it though, do you? Like, that's part of your service, isn't it?
We learned that in the last SEN podcast, which I was slammed for as well. Absolutely slammed on the socials for it, but hey, you live and learn. I got one in the first, filly having its first start for the stable, a recent addition. So yeah, she looks a nice chance, but heavy track down there is the big unknown.
Yeah, no doubt. What price has she gone up? Have you had a bet here?
It's $1.80.
Oh, you steamed it. What? And Eagle Awaits we speak of. Race 1, number 9, Eagle Awaits, $3 into $1.80. Either yourself or George has stepped in there.
Oh yeah, no, they don't deduct for scratchings at all in this modern era. So.
Speaking of which, we saw a 85 cents versus a 43 cents deduction the other day. That would have been disturbing for the punters, but not so much for the trainers. Will, have you finished track work yet?
I've got another set or two. We start a bit later at Rose Hill, social hours.
Social hours. Beery, you're done and dusted. What we're going to do today for the listeners, 0499 736 736, we've got topics. If you haven't seen Around the Horn on ESPN, this is going to be Around the Bend on SEN, and it's as simple as this. You got 45 to 60 seconds on a topic each. We'll award a point to the winner of each topic, and when your time's up, you'll hear this sound. It's the only sound we could get over Will Freeman's voice.
Oh, here we go.
Thank God.
I said to you earlier in the week, Gannon, if you start unloading on me, I will team up with Mitch and bully you.
I look forward to it. Speaking of Mitch and teaming up, mate, 2 wins this season. You're sitting second on the New South Wales Trainer Premiership, off to a flyer.
Yeah. Hey, just back on that sound thing. I was dreading we were going to get the Miles bell.
Oh yeah, the ding ding.
Is that reserved? Has he copyrighted the ding?
That's there for you.
Some people have that horn as their alarm. Like, you're a proper psychopath if that's your alarm in the morning to wake up.
What trainer would have that alarm, Will?
Blake Ryan.
Blake Ryan. Shout out to Blake. Doing his best. All right, you ready to play, boys? You ready to go?
Ready.
Yep, I'm ready.
Beery, you're leading the premiership at the moment, so we'll let you go first. Your first topic, track ratings and the inaccuracy in track ratings. Go.
I think there needs to be a revise of it. It's too inconsistent. I think 10's probably a too big a number for most jockeys to count to and subtract from. So I think if we put it back to 5, it sort of simplifies it. Whether someone can go out and genuinely tell between a 9 and a 10 or an 8 and a 9 is beyond me, but they seem to get it wrong more than they get it right in this day and age. And I think blaming track curators is an easy thing, but there's a lot of steps along the way. Curators, jockeys, stewards, the works, but between them all, it's pretty hard to get them to agree and to get it right.
Well,
I spoke to Michael Wood, ATC track curator, here on Saturday. He said they are going to go. Well, they've put in an application to remove the number system and to just go firm, good, yielding, slow, heavy, and just the numbers become a thing of the past, and just try and sort of, it's a similar train of thought to what Mitch is saying, but the numbers will be removed because there's no way it's an exact science like that. We're talking about a vast amount of land that spaces over 2,000 metres, and saying that one area is exactly the same as the other seems outdated.
love it. And you got under 60 seconds, Will.
I'm taking these backhanders very well.
No, you're taking them very well. Be more backhanders next week. Change of tactics rule. Mitch, I'll let you kick off again. There's a fair bit going on here, and I know you're not a fan of it.
Nah, I think it's probably one of the worst sort of new additions to the racing rules. I think at the end of the day, I'm all for punter intel, and I'm all for letting the punters know. But we're also having a race, and we're trying to win races, and tactics are everything. And the further that I've got into training and getting deeper into data and deeper into form, how you're going to ride a horse and what you're going to do changes so significantly after they run 2 or 3 races, because the way tracks are lately, the last couple of years, they're so inconsistent. So whether you're going to come down the outside rail or whether you're going to lead or go back is defined a lot in 1 or 2 races. So I think it needs a revise. I think that they're too inconsistent, and it also pigeonholes jockeys too much. If you say you're going to go forward and you declare that, and then they're a bit slow away, I feel like that jockey's pressured to still go forward because they're worried about the repercussions of the change of tactics.
Well,
yeah, I've never liked it, but I think stewards have to do their job, and I think a severe change of tactics should be declared to the stewards, but that doesn't necessarily mean it needs to be declared to the public. All the stewards need to be assured of is there is a method to your madness as a trainer and the tactics you're given. But it should be one of the punters' points of difference is trusting or not trusting certain trainers and the tactics they utilize. It's not. We can go to racing digital horses if people are going to be so concerned by it, but in a game of rugby league, they don't tell the opposition if they're going to do an inside pass off the third play to try and go through a hole. It's a sport. We're becoming so far removed from the sporting element of it that I think it's time to be like, okay, give the stewards what they need with integrity, maybe declare before, but even just quiz them afterwards. It's like quiz the jockeys afterwards and quiz the trainers afterwards and say, why was there such a drastic change of plan? And if they can justify it, play on.
Done well there.
I got that for you. I reckon that was 43 seconds. You were trying to catch me.
That was outstanding. Yeah, Paul Sebastiani trying to get you off. So what do we do then? So if change of tactics go behind closed doors, but you still go to the stewards and you say, all right, well, our intent is to be more positive on this horse. Surely that's enough, and they don't have to broadcast it to the punters. And the punters, as you said, Will, it's up to them to decide. Well, this jockey's on, they've drawn this gate, and there's an opportunity that this horse has been ridden for in the past. Like, how likely as a trainer is it for you to have a horse that's had 10 starts, never gone forward, to send one? It seems unlikely, doesn't it? As a punter, you just got to work that out yourself.
got to be 100 to 1 that it's going to happen. And if it does happen, it's because the horse has been so out of form that you were changing something so drastic. And in that case, I don't think the punters are on it anyway. And if they are, fair play to you. Go have a crack. But it's for your 100 to 1 punters that it affects. And I think they brought it in to increase integrity. I don't think it's achieved that.
Beery, do you reckon it's off-putting?
Reward good punters. Reward good punters. Reward the punters that are out there doing the work and putting in the hours, and they're going to back something at 15 to 1 because it's a small field and it's drawn well and it's got blinkers on for the first time, and they think, oh well, I'm gonna take the 15s here because I reckon it's going to roll forward. Don't simplify the game for those punters that aren't doing the work and just expect that that everything's going to lob out and fall into the speed map that's provided by the racing body. Reward punters that are doing the work, and they're smart enough to work it out because all the data's there now.
Yeah. And what about the owners as well? They seem to lose out, right? So if you're a trainer and you put out a report and say, look, we're going to change tactics, we're going forward here, and the owners then have to take a shorter price because at the same time you've had to notify the stewards as well, and now all of a sudden your edge as an owner, which is a significant impost when you're paying that bill, disappears, and the regular Joe Blow out there gets the same information as you do.
Well, I completely agree with that. It's how much benefit does an owner actually get? There used to be an art of getting a horse ready to win a race, and that's not necessarily giving them a run, but utilising a tactical change to try and get a horse to win a particular race where your owners actually can get on. That used to be a really enjoyable part about training and owning. And I think they're just trying to take that away from them. And there's while I'm totally in favour to give punters as much opportunity as they can, we still have to look after the owner because there's two shareholders in the game. There's the owner and there's the punter, and they both need looking after. And at the moment, it seems like why would you bother owning? You get as much information as anybody else, particularly, now that we're in a way where a lot of stables are broadcasting the horses they think will win.
Beery?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think the transparency and the steward's job is probably more post-race than pre-race. If they're not comfortable with how quick a horse went or why a horse went back when they had it sort of going forward, and they're well in their rights, to bring the jockey in and bring the trainer in, and how come this ended up here and that. But to broadcast it publicly prior to every time you're going to sort of chance your luck on one, and sometimes you do decide to just let one rip because there's a lack of speed in that, and then by showing your hand, you're declaring that you're going to do it and you catch no one by surprise.
Yeah, it seems absolutely ridiculous, which moves us on to our next topic, being the stewards' imposed speed maps. What are the expectations, Will, of your jockey riding to these speed maps? Because as a punter, I look at them and I throw them in the bin. I do my own, and that's all I'm worried about. But you're saddling one up, and does your jockey say, I've gone through the Racing New South Wales speed maps, and this is how we've got to ride it? What's the discussion around them?
I don't have a hugely controversial view on this. I actually don't mind the Racing New South Wales speed maps. I think they're as accurate as any other. In terms of having to declare tactics, it obviously makes a difference, but they could use any speed map if they want. Again, it's only really being a trainer is trying to avoid getting fined, particularly if you don't think your horse is going to win. You don't want to sink in the boot again and have a $200 fine on a horse that's not going to accumulate much prize money.
Beery, does that take away the risk that might be associated with, making a bold move in a race?
Yeah, I think it's funny. I think a lot of jockeys, majority of jockeys, read the same sort of speed maps, so they all come out having read the one speed map and go, "Oh, there's a heap of speed in this race." You're like, "Yeah, you are the speed."
Yeah.
So when everyone's singing off the same hymn, it takes that tactic and that mindset out of the way. It's like handing them a script that's provided by Racing New South Wales that this is where you're all meant to be. That's not a race. That's not what racing is all about. So I think it contradicts itself, and That's why we do our independent sort of speed maps and work with different things because, you're almost trying to go against what they provide because you're trying to find an edge. But in saying that, you go back to what we were talking about before. If you're not going to be there, then you have to declare it. So I find it a very hypocritical system.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Righto, lads. It's been a good start to Around the Bend. This is Giddy Up on Tuesday, the 5th of August. We'll take the news and be back with another 6 topics right after this.
Powered by Signet, making SEN News headlines. There are concerns of escalating violence in Gaza after Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu ordered the IDF to occupy all remaining areas of the Palestinian territory. With the Crows in with a genuine shot of featuring in the last weekend of September, there is anger from Adelaide fans over soaring plane fares. Fares to Melbourne over the grand final weekend have surged to nearly triple the average weekend prices. And ahead of the real thing next year, up to 60,000 households across Australia will take part in a census test run tonight. Up next, SEN Sport. Dockers midfielder Hayden Young will miss at least one match after scans revealed an adductor strain he copped in an incident in the first quarter of Sunday's win over Carlton. And the test series between India and England has tied at 2-2 after a dramatic final morning of the 5th test. England falling short by 6 runs, Chris Wokes batting one-armed due to a dislocated shoulder.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Giddy Up! Around the Bend, Mitch Beer, Will Freedman, Mick Gannon with you. Next topic, we are heading to dual acceptors. Will Freedman, I'll throw it to you. Are they just jockey hogging? What's going on?
Well, I don't mind dual acceptors, but I just think our biggest problem with the amount of horses being, it's particularly a problem in the city. I don't find dual acceptors a problem outside of the city, but we've just got. My main problem is we've just got so many scratchings. It's like there's just too many horses that are getting scratched. I don't personally have a problem with dual acceptors, but I mainly have a problem with scratching.
Beery?
I've nearly just run off the road because I literally don't know anyone that scratches more than Will Freeman.
Am I allowed to rebut?
Yes, you can.
Back onto the road here, but we might keep a scratching tally this year for Will and I and see who scratches more at the end of the year. But I probably don't have good enough horses to dual accept. I just take a run where they get them. But I think
it's such a hero mix.
I think there should be two different price structures in scratching. I think if a track is significantly changed from the moment of acceptances to when you want to run race morning, then it should be at a lower fee. And otherwise, if you just purely scratching to go to a different race, then you should be charged a much higher fee. And I think it'll really level itself out.
Well,
I don't mind. I don't mind that system, but it's my problem is that there are too many elements of racing that are sort of pushed towards having the stables that have multiple runners in the same race having an advantage. I just want things to be completely equitable, and I feel like at the moment it's not that way.
so Will, what happens here if, let's say, Kieran Maher or Chris Waller have nominated and accepted, and they have, let's say, eight horses in the race between them, and they've obviously booked McDonald, Collett, and the list goes on from 1 through to 8, and you've had to book jockey 9, 10, Beery's booked jockey 11, 12, and then they accept with only one horse apiece or two horses apiece because the barrier draws haven't gone their way. No knock on jockey 9, 10, 11, 12 and 13, but you've just missed out on everything in between, Will.
Yeah, and it's becoming more and more prevalent. I mean, it's been a problem for a while. Jockey agents have an issue with it as well, but you know, this has been a problem since Adam and Eve, because I know that Richard and his brothers probably would have done the same thing when they were the number one seed. But my problem is you'll see when acceptances come out, is that a lot of big trainers haven't allotted their riders to the horse. I don't understand why. I don't understand why they are not doing it. Well, I do understand why, but it's a very simple fix, in my opinion, is make a time when the barriers are published. If it's 10 o'clock, fine. And you need to have your jockeys organised before then. It's really not it's not a complex problem to fix.
It's a better product. It increases turnover when the better jockeys are going around. So that's clear as day. Off the text line here, jockeys need to go up the minute they're accepted, not when the big stables decide who the best jockeys are going to ride. So there you go. Beery, any opinion on that? Like, do you feel like there's scenarios where you might miss out on some of those bigger jockeys because, you know, they've already been pre-booked?
Oh, I think that it's no doubt over the last couple of years, those big stables use their numbers and they use their ammo to all but manipulate races. You know, they bully their way into certain races. It starts at the weights. You know, they well and truly put horses in that they know aren't going to go, and they don't accept. And then, you know, they put 4 good jockeys knowing that they're only going to run one, but they use their numbers. And you know what? They can. You know, there's really nothing preventing them doing it. So, you know, you can say, oh, woe me, and it's not fair and that, but you know, would I be using those numbers and those jockeys that want to ride for my stable in my favour? Probably. So it is a complex thing. I mean, you see midweek, you'll see a maiden, $100,000 maiden, and there'll be 8 horses go around. You think, why? All the horses work in Sydney, and they cart them off to Bathurst and Dubbo and everywhere, and there's a $100,000 maiden on their doorstep. But it's because you go back and look at the noms, 3 big mega stables nominated, you know, 8 horses each, trying to warn off or scare off sort of other trainers, and it works. And then you end up having 8 going around for bugger all turnover and $100,000 prize money. Great for those trainers, great for those connections, but I don't think it's very good for racing.
Yeah, they're all playing by the rules, which is completely fair enough. And if you're in their situation, you probably would. But maybe someone needs to have a good hard look at that to make sure that, well, first of all, from the turnover perspective, that turnover continues to increase, and we do have competitive racing, and we see the best jockeys going around week in, week out. It's like golf, isn't it? You know, sometimes you can play within the rules and still get a favourable drop, and you know, you just got to deal with what's in front of you.
Yeah, they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything wrong, and then you know, you end up getting that sort of UK type model where you have, you know, 5 and 6 runners going around and crap turnover because everyone's sort of scared to run against this and place that, and it all just becomes this big game.
Yep, certainly does. We've got a few more topics to go. Watering of tracks. Is the Melbourne Cup still the race that stops the nation? What does racing look like in 50 years, and standalone Saturday meetings? We're going to cover those and maybe a little bit more after the break.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
This is Giddy Up, Mick, Gannon in the chair. Mitch, Beer, Will Freeman joining you for Around the Bend, brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead for free and confidential support. Visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Beery, you got a radio promo you want to do for us?
No, I could. At work and that, I reckon I'll be good at it.
Maybe some at Mitch Beer Racing, something like that. What do you got?
Yeah.
Anything?
No, I worked at the show once, the Royal Melbourne Show.
Did
and
you?
Mate, I've had some of the most random jobs ever.
What's the most random job you've had? Obviously, there was a pro shop set up that you told me about, a break-in down in Melbourne once.
Yeah, I worked at a driving range. Driving the buggy, used to get just pelted.
Can we start that again?
I was less of a moving target. Then than when I become a racehorse trainer.
Will, how much would you pay to get Beery to pick up balls?
We'll stop a train. What was that?
How much would you pay to have Beery picking up balls on the range for an afternoon?
Yeah, I'd pay him. I'd pay a bit.
You'd love it, wouldn't you?
But I mean, I'm not that good a golfer, to be fair.
No, it's a good point you make. What handicap are you off at the moment?
I don't have a handicap. I just roll with the punches.
Hey, Beery, that sounds like a man that's trying to set up for a weekend golf trip. By the sounds of it.
No handicap, no golf link number, no play.
Scratch.
Yeah.
Righto, let's move on to our next topic, watering of tracks. There are plenty of thought out there that on the side of a soft 5 is better than a good 4. Beery, kick us off.
I don't know. I think that, course curators and superintendents and that have an extraordinarily hard job, and, they're trying to appease everyone. And, they get it wrong, they get it right, and their results, lie in the weather. So I think we can be pretty hard on them at times. But I think where what gets lost is everyone's, worried about whether it's a 4 or a 5 or a 6. But I think the actual quality of tracks and how much grass coverage they have and how much fill they have and how much they've been raced on is far more important, and everyone just gets so caught up in that number and when it's been watered last, as opposed to the actual quality of the track, and I think that's most important.
Well,
all I know is that asking trainers about what tracks they want depend on the runners they have, usually on a Saturday. So there's no better weather forecaster than a trainer. If you want it dry and they've got some dry trackers in, just ask a trainer. They will tell you it'll be dry. There's no data on what tracks should be in terms of. To be fair, I would say that the vets are pretty good. They're probably actually your best indicator of what's better for the well-being of horses, not trainers. So
what would they say, the vets, if you spoke to them?
Well, I would say the vets would probably tell you that their most anxious days in racing are when tracks are really firm, and they'll tell you that, and they'll tell you that tracks that are on the softer side probably make them sleep a little bit easier. Most trainers don't want it on the extremities of side. I think when we're dealing with good 4s or soft 5s, it's not too bad. It's just there's probably a little bit of a lack of transparency between when a track is too firm. But I don't have a hugely big opinion on it, to be honest. I think in terms of have tracks where they sit, but just don't let them get too firm. Where too firm is probably up for debate, and my opinion is probably the firm 2 is too firm. Everything outside of a firm 2 is probably not too firm.
Love that. Off the text line here, 0499 736 736. Whoever wants to take this question can. Are genuine riding instructions given in front of the owners, or are the more accurate riding instructions given in the mounting yard away from the owners?
There's no two sets. That's
No B set?
real myth.
Yeah.
No, and you know, I've never seen it. I've never heard it getting done. And you know, from a integrity point of view, you can't give two sets of instructions. You can't send a pre-race report saying you're going to do one thing, and then in front of the owner saying you're going to do another thing, and then walk out with the jockey and say, hey, no, you know, don't take any note of that. Do this, because also your jockey is going to be like, mate, what are you talking about? I'm not doing that. You've just said in front of the owners that we're going to do this. So I can't ever recall of that happening.
Righto, last question before we take a break, Will.
I'll precurse that by saying good jockeys don't need instructions and bad jockeys can't follow them. It is actually 100% smack on. And if you want to try and change it, like as soon as those gates open, most of the better instructions and most of the better jockeys will tell you that the better trainers just tell you about the horse. It's not about what happens once those barriers open.
Yep. All right, we're going to take a break, lads. I'm going to leave you with this question, some time to ponder over it. Is the Melbourne Cup still the race that stops the nation? We'll be back with your answers after the break.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
This is Giddy Up. Mick, Gannon with you. Will Freeman, Mitch Beer been joining us for the first hour. Our final question of the first hour is the Melbourne Cup still the race that stops the nation? Will Freeman.
Hello.
Have we lost
yeah,
Will?
Sorry,
Welcome back.
I was just got some riders coming out. I'm still working. Do I think the race stops the nation? No, not particularly. I think we need to do some things that will help it though. So I think we can get back to it. But I heard the other day the VRC was saying it just works, so we'd never change the time. Well, they're not allowing the race to be shown at schools anymore. So why wouldn't
Mitchell Beer.
I think it's clinging on. If you ask me the race I'd most love to win, it's probably still the Melbourne Cup, but this will be, my generation will be the last generation that pins it as the best race and the most watched race in Australia.
Absolute legends. Appreciate your time. If you want to get involved with Mitch Beer Racing, go to mitchbeerracing.com.au. The Freemans. Will, how do we do it? He's gone. Will, he's hung up. Follow the Freemans on social media. It's good banter. Thanks, Beery.
Bye.
Powered by Signet, good morning. I'm Nate Gardner with SEN News. A full military occupation of Gaza has been ordered by the Israeli PM in a bid to free hostages. Benjamin Netanyahu will seek cabinet backing for the plan despite objections from within the IDF. The PM has posted to social media justifying the move.
Humanitarian aid has been interdicted by Hamas looting. They steal the food from their own people. But in the last few months, that food has not been reaching the Palestinian civilians.
Federal police are expected to make further arrests after charging a Chinese woman with foreign interference in Canberra. She was arrested on the weekend after a tip-off to ASIO, officers carrying out searches and seizing devices. She was allegedly gathering information on a Buddhist group to relay to the Chinese intelligence service, a group that Beijing was reportedly trying to erase. The Albanese government has confirmed the number of tertiary student places for overseas students will rise to 295,000 next year. That's 25,000 more than this year. In the US, Sean Diddy Combs has again been denied bail as he awaits sentencing for sex trafficking offences. The disgraced rapper has been held behind bars since being found guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution last month. The judge found that there were no exceptional reasons to release him before his sentencing in October. A new research shows around 4 million Australians can't afford hygiene products like soap and deodorant. Coming up, SEN Sport. Melbourne coach Simon Goodwin has been sacked after just 7 wins this year. The players will be informed this morning. The Gold Coast CEO has clarified reports meantime that the Suns are trying to dump its $2 million deal to play in Darwin. Mark Evans says they will play the final year of the deal next year and will review the deal going forward.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall. On Giddy Up, it's now time for the Midweek Masterclass.
Yes, the Midweek Masterclass brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead for free and confidential support. Visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Let's kick off the Midweek Masterclass. We'll head to Sydney, currently rated a heavy 9. That is Canterbury speak of, with clear weather today and tomorrow. We're catching up with Mark Roden. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning. How are you?
We hope we can see Mark. We can't hear Mark just yet. Good morning, Mark. Got you now.
Hello. Got me?
Certainly do. Good morning to you, Mark. Canterbury rated a heavy 9. Clear weather today and tomorrow. How do you see the track playing?
Yeah, hopefully it will improve. 20-odd degrees there today and about 19 tomorrow. So with any luck, it'll get up to an 8, maybe a 7. Rail 2 metres with the softish track. Look, inside, up and in, no disadvantage at all, but they might get a little bit off the straight with that, track in the 7-8 range.
Yep, fair enough. And take it away with your plays for what should be a good day of racing at Canterbury.
Okay, we'll start in race 4. I like number 4, the Enchanter here. Done most of its racing in its short career at Canterbury, back at the night meetings over the summer mainly. Went out with a very good win over 1,250 in good time before being tipped out for a spell. It's had 2 trials, been asked to do very little in those 2 trials. Had plenty left. Looks to be plenty of speed in this race. It's going to sit often from barrier 1. If it can just get a bit of luck getting a run at the top of the straight, I think it'll be very hard to beat. Pretty high weight scale in this race, and so the claim for Jace McMurray is a plus as well. It's Strand Beauty went very hard at Gosford last start and held on. It's a chance. Shalar Gold's drawn badly. I thought it should be longer in the market. The query runner is number 9, Stormland, who trialled well, but at around, $4.50 to $5, the Enchanter looks a pretty good bet to me.
Yeah, certainly is. Getting $4.80 with Bet365. That's race 4, number 4, the Enchanter. Claiming 3 for Jace McMurray, drawn inside there. Mark, the next of your plays.
Yeah, on to the last race. This is a pretty stock standard benchmark 72, 1900. Going for the one which I think has the most upside in the race, the bottom one, number 10, Unusual Prospect. Look, it beat nothing at Hawkesbury last start, but it did the job pretty stylishly. Get a very nice run for Zach Lloyd from 5 here. Most of the others are pretty well exposed. With the soft track, look, he failed at odds on a soft track at Hawkesbury 2 starts back, but he just got a hell of a long way out of his ground that day. I'm prepared to forgive that, and he was placed on debut in New Zealand on soft ground, so I'm not too worried about the track. As I said, there's not many horses in this race that will reach a better standard than this, and he might be the one just with a bit of upside. So I'm prepared to take the punt on number 10, Unusual Prospect.
Fantastic. Getting around $4 there for the horse with the most upside. And they're the 2 plays for you at Canterbury. Nothing else at a bit of value, or are you just happy to stick with those 2?
Bit of value. It's value only. In race 1, we've got Miss Jones, number 6. Look, she's 5th up. She's well exposed. People could, within their rights, be a bit sick of her. But she did get stuck 3 wide last start at this track. Hopefully gets a better run tomorrow. It's not the strongest maiden I've ever seen. It's in well with a claim for Braithnock. So if you wanted maybe each way at around 9.50, I could make a case for it. But yeah, she has a few convictions.
Yeah, you just got to hold your breath early. Hopefully she can jump with them, and if she can, she'll be right there, Mark.
Yeah, it should give a sight.
Love that. There he is, Mark Roden. Thank you very much. Good luck tomorrow, Canterbury. Appreciate your time, and we'll chat to you next week.
No worries. Thanks. See you.
There he is, Mark Roden at Canterbury. Race 4, number 4, the Enchanter. Race 7, number 10, Unusual Prospect. His 2 best of the day there at Canterbury. Let's move on to Chris O'Nelson. He's going to preview Doomben. Currently a soft 5, clear weather today and tomorrow from a place we'd rather be. Chris O'Nelson, g'day, mate.
Good morning to you, Mick. And in that nice golf polo shirt you're wearing there, you'd be well suited to having 18 holes up here today. I can tell you, there's
FootJoy
not a cloud
special.
in the sky. We've got 25 degrees for today and tomorrow. So beautiful weather at this stage in southeast Queensland.
Half your luck, mate. Half your luck. How do you see this Doomben track playing?
Look, it should play pretty fair. I mean, we often say with the rail out, and it's out 5.5 tomorrow. look, we have it out wider than that, and they still make ground in some of these races. So I wouldn't let it affect you too much unless we get a pattern emerge in the first couple of races. I mean, some of those shorter races, it always is helpful to be up in the first 2 or 3. But when they get out to the mile plus, they can make some ground. So it's hard to say. I'd say it'll play pretty fair.
Beautiful. Take it away with your best plays there at Doomben. Well, at least your best early plays, Chriso.
Well, no prices up as yet anywhere, so we'll go
Makes
with
it tough, doesn't it?
this one. Getting used to it now. It does make it tough. I think I tipped one the other day. On Sunday, and I said this could be short. I think it went off at about $1.15. So
dear.
There you go. You look like a mug. It won, but you look like a mug when you tip him at that price. But anyway,
Mitchie Lewis tipped
race
the card
4.
without prices. I'm not sure if you remember that, but there was no prices up, and he tipped the card. And just goes to show, have a bit of faith in what you're doing.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I do the form without prices, but I like this. Before I go on air, I don't want to give something out that's $1.20. So it's nice to know what the prices are.
That's
Race
it.
4, number 2, Keitel. Now, this one was formerly with the Price Kent stable. Now with David Van Dyke. First start record's really good. 4 starts for 3 wins. Didn't mind the recent trial. I think it's got a good chance tomorrow. There's a few in this race that are a little bit iffy. This one might be the way to go, and the stable's going really well at the moment. So we'll keep an eye on the markets when they do come up for race 4, number 2, Keitel. Now, I'm tipping David Van Dyke to train at least 3 winners tomorrow because my other 2 tips are also from the same stable. I speak of race 6, number 11, Lady Lucifer. Now, Lady Lucifer's going really well all up. She's had 6 goes, 2 wins and 3 placings. She won her first 2 starts last prep. Then she went to Eagle Farm, ran 3rd behind Floozy. Now, that's a pretty good form line. And then she failed at Ipswich. I think she might have been looking for the paddock. Now, no trials, but she's less than 100 days between runs. She'll lob right onto the fence behind the lead tomorrow. And with Ryan Maloney to steer, I reckon she'll be really hard to beat. So race 6, number 11. And the stablemate in race 7, this horse is absolutely flying. I've got the right race here. Race 8, Race 8, number 4, Pharaoh's Prophecy, who has won both starts this campaign from wide gates. Again, draws a wide gate tomorrow, but the map suggests that he can get over no problems at all. He's been running them into the ground lately. So for Jag, Guthman Chester and David Van Dyke, he can round out the treble of wins for David Van Dyke tomorrow, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully a D Van Dyke treble there, and a Chris O. Nelson treble as well. And we'll chat to you tomorrow. And hopefully when we chat to you tomorrow, there will be some prices up, and you'll be able to tell us whether they're great bets or just good bets.
Well, I'll do my very best, Mick, but only for you.
You're a good man. There he is, Chris Nelson. Thanks very much for your time there. His best bets, race 4, number 2, Keitel, race 6, number 11, Lady Lucifer, race 8, number 4, Pharaoh's Prophecy. Off the text line, 0499 736 736. Keep getting those in. After some thoughts on Iniesta, 19s into 11s. I know a man that might have a share in the horse. We'll see what we can do if we can get him on before the end of bag of tips perhaps. But right now we'll take a break. We'll catch up with Mitchie Lewis. He'll preview Sandown, Morphettville, all for the midweek masterclass after this.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
This is Giddy Up. Mick Gannon in the chair. Miles Fitz in the back tomorrow. G Hall not too far away as well. It's never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead for free and confidential support. Visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. This is the midweek masterclass. And we're going to turn our attention anyway to Sandown. Currently a soft 5, clear today, showers tomorrow. And there's only one man we need to speak to get some tips, and that is Mitchy Lewis from Form Guide Breakdowns. G'day, mate.
Hello, mate. How are you this morning?
Yeah, doing well. How was your day yesterday? Any bets on the Darwin Cup?
No, not really. Kept a close eye. We were all right there just for some shorties on the synthetic, though. A couple 2 from 2, but not at odds that you'd roost home about. But it's that time of year that you just want to get a winner, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very, very hard time of year to find a winner with the tracks being rain affected and not necessarily the most genuine horses around. But Sandown currently on a soft 5. How do you see the track playing today?
Yeah, look, back on the lakeside, it's been hillside the last few starts. Lakeside can sometimes tend to leave itself a little bit to more of those on speed, but I would say with the conditions, the rail set up, it's probably going to be as fair as you would see a typical lakeside.
Beautiful. Kick us off with your plays, mate.
Yeah, look, I'll come back on tomorrow. What I try to do here, Gannon, obviously with no prices at Malaclava either, I try to find a couple that we can pick off prices early, and most of the ones that I'm keen on are all are about their right price. The only one that really jumps off to me that I had a much shorter price than others, race 2, number 1, Algorithmic for the Hawks team, Blake Shinnon. Obviously, he's got no placings yet, but much stronger races through listed and group level than what he's coming up against today. Comes into the race gelded. Steady enough trials that Blake Shin in the saddle for both of those is a sign of intent for me. So, last time I checked, he was floating around the $3 mark, $3.10-ish. I think you could get him down a fair few more pegs than that, in my opinion. So he's the one I'm looking at early there at Sandown.
Well, the good news for you, Mitchy, is Bet365 had Algorithmic at $3.20. So you're getting a bit of value there. We also spoke to Wayne Hawkes yesterday on the means test. I asked him for one play that he had, and he looked at me and he said with a little smirk, Algorithmic. Blake Shin's booked. He's keen. He is keen as. There you go, Mitchy. So we might have to make that the boosted horse of the day tomorrow. But I'll leave that to you and Miles to sort out as he'll be in the chair. Any other horses that caught your eye? Obviously, not they're all around the right price, but anything else for the listeners out there, maybe just to have a little look at and do the form, they can work around a couple of your selections?
Yeah, the other one I didn't mind, race 4, number 9, Princess Q for Simon Zara. Again, a horse that was probably in stronger races through the early parts or late parts of last prep, including the English Sprint. Last trial quite good. Damien Lane hops on. The horse maps to be in a prominent position on the track that generally suits. So, I'm thinking she'll be a best bet. I would sort of be happy at that sort of mark she's at now. So, Princess Q, the other one came at Sandown.
In that race, what did you make of, I'm sure you haven't gone all the way into the depth of the form with obviously another day to go, but what did you make of White Bear in that race, Mitchy?
I was with White Bear first up. I went and had a look at him again. Generally, I'm just pulling up my notes I had on him, but I think off the top of my head, second up was just the question. I don't think he's a huge second up. Well, soft track, Sorry, I'm steering down the path there.
Yeah, you're right. It was a soft 7 at Cranbourne, but he has paid $5.50. He was well supported. So I think just failed to handle the going. That's probably the angle you need to take on that horse, I'd imagine.
Yeah, he was a watch on condition for me with showers around tomorrow. So I backed him first up. I thought the setup was nice, bar the soft track. The risk didn't pay off. So I was just keen watching him again on how sticky this track actually gets.
This question here off the text line. I'm not sure if you've looked at Canterbury Race 1 tomorrow. Obviously, Mark Roden's gone. Iniesta. Tom Papley's in the ownership of this. We spoke to Tommy Charlton a few weeks ago. He thought this horse has above average ability. Have you seen it go around at all? in his trials?
Yeah, I watched a couple. I did the pre-form last night. He was probably, I mean, it's easy to say the best of the debutants. There's only 2 or 3 of them in the race. He's got no choice but to push forward. You'd think there'll be some speed in the race with the 11. Portofino probably wants to go forwards as well. And I was sort of, the main danger for me, that Burma Star, James McDonald on. Does it just get the best run of the race from that inside barrier and Cobra Club as well probably wants to push forward. So I think it's a sticky race, Matt, when you're on debut. But it's a heavy track. The inside lanes might not be the worst place to be. Maybe not race 1 though. But yeah, that's sort of my summary. It's always tricky when they're on debut from barrier 11, isn't it?
Certainly is. The stable have a huge opinion of the horse, so I'd be very interested to see how it goes. I thought its trial beating Nazwa was good. Its 2 trials recently probably haven't been as probably hasn't done as easily as I would have liked it to. So it'd be interesting to see what he produces on race day. Morphettville Parks, Mitchie, there's 8 races ahead. Currently a soft 6, showers tomorrow, but it is clear today. I suspect probably it'll be on a 6 or a 7. How do you see the track playing?
Yeah, Morphettville Parks, rail out, probably on speed, the advantage. Probably want to settle in the first 4, and they will probably come wide in the straight if it's much wetter than a soft 5. So inside lanes, probably inferior. I'm going to sort of look to bookend the card with a stable, Gannon. Race 1, maiden runner here, Laws Wars, drawn quite nicely to the inside. Will race up on speed. Was bullish on a horse he lost to, Captain Harry, last start. But I think Captain Harry's coming out of some good form references, so I'm tying that form reference in. Jake Towroat goes on for the Jollies. It obviously means business as always, and drawn to get that soft run. I would be surprised if Jake doesn't push the horse up into that prominent position. So I think it's the main play in that race. And then in race 8, another Richard and Chantel Jolly horse, Be Responsible, was a really good winner at Murray Bridge on debut. Beat a horse called A Fair View, who we got done a pimple on the line in a metro race on Saturday. So that form reference ties in nicely. He came out second up. Race maybe a little bit flatter, but it was a handy enough race. I think this is slightly easier, back to a 56, third up fitter, drawn well again, and they put the apprentice on to take a few kilos off. I think he'll be going forwards and be the one to catch.
Beautiful. Love your work, Mitchie. Thanks very much for your time today, mate. Form Guide breakdowns, where we find your work on thegreattipoff.com. Is that right?
Yeah, greattipoff.com at the minute. Gano, just if you head up to Form Guide breakdowns, there's a little note there that we're just assessing a few things at the minute. So keep an eye on SEN socials and the Great Tip-Off just at this stage.
Beautiful. Love your work. There he is, Mitchie Lewis. We'll chat to you tomorrow, mate. Miles hopefully got on his flight, and not the float, definitely on his flight this morning, and he'll be in the chair tomorrow. I'm sure you'll speak to him with some updated odds and some winners for Sandown and Morphettville.
Hopefully, shout out to Miles. I've just double-checked my text. Last one I got from him started with a 2, but it's on the closer side to the 3. So hopefully he made that 6 a.m. flight, but we'll find out tomorrow morning.
Oh, boy. Thanks, Mitchie. Take it easy.
Thanks, mate. Have a good one.
Oh, wow. What goes on, hey? Speaking of the Darwin Cup, Paulie Sebastiani, why don't we listen to the closing moments? It was a big, big day for Miles Fitzner. He was with Motor Race. Let's hear the closing moments of the Darwin Cup.
So Dukin goes for the game now, and then behind those then Pink Panther, Dukin, Prince Joffre, deeper out Motor Race, Wolfburn the inside, Prince Joffre's coming out of Dukin, the Greys join him, it's a Dukin, Prince Joffre, Motor Race over the top, it's a Dukin the inside, and Dukin goes back to back in the Cup.
Yeah, Hadouken got the job done there. Motor Race, Paulie, as I welcome you in. Good morning.
Good morning, Mickey boy, and listeners. How are you, mate? All is well?
Yeah, doing well. You're a sharp mind, have a good analytical mind, and I thought I'd get your opinion of this Darwin Cup. Plenty of the SEN track family, all around Milo, and Milo had that horse in the Calcutta going for a fair whack, so created plenty of interest. What were your thoughts on the race overall, and potentially the ride on a Motor Race?
Well, Sammy Hyland called it beautifully about a quarter of the way through the race. It looked as though there was going to be a little bit of speed because the horses from wide sort of drifted across as they went past the post for the first time, and then all the speed just came out of the race, and Blake Sheehan, to his credit, sat outside the lead on what was ultimately a slow tempo. And look, I mean, people asking Motor Race to settle closer. How can you settle closer in the run, Gannon, if you haven't got the early toe?
Yeah. Would you want to be 3 wide as well?
Exactly. So
Yep.
I just think Motor Race is probably a victim of circumstance, and it was just one of those races where Hadouken had the superior gate speed, positioned himself a perfect spot in the run, and
Superior
goes back
barrier
to back.
as well,
And
Paulie.
look, all due respect to Toddy Panley, he's a good jockey in his own right, but Blake Shin is one of our number one in Australia.
Different gravy.
Oh, he is, and that old combo of Roble and Shin, two close mates from back in the day. It's very, very hard to beat. So the horse was ready to rock and roll into what was its grand final. And look, I don't think Motor Race could have gone any better, to be honest. When the sprint came on, I actually thought he was really, really good from the spot he was
good.
in. He was one of the only horses to really make up ground from where he was. And nice to see the locals get a second place effort with Prince Joffre. But it was just a great race, great meeting, and good to see Sammy get one home with Seguso.
How good was that?
Oh, brilliant. On air as well. He gave it a good push, double figure odds. Stan the Man Sakos just goes bang off the stablemate. And they beat the favourite with Nasharillo. It was ding-dong battle up the straight, but well done to Sammy and Connections.
I think moral of the story there is Blake Shin doesn't go to Darwin for his health. He's going up there to ride the winner.
No.
And they duly saluted. So, and probably the other one there, lesson that can be learned is not always the best horse wins the race, Paulie.
No. It's look, and I think one thing that I've learnt as well on the punt and assessing race is that, not all horses are freaks, right? So they're all, especially in that particular grade. I mean, how many horses have a real sharp turn of foot for, they have that short, sharp sprint, and some can sustain it, some can't. How many horses can sustain 800 to 900 metre sprints? It takes a very, very special animal to be able to do that. And, all horses, particularly in that type of grade, they're limited to a certain point, and that's not a knock. That's just the reality. So asking horses to sit in the back of the field and then sprint sharply for 600-700 metres is very, very difficult. So I think Motor Race probably go for a spell, or they might continue. But look, it'll pick up maybe some cups along the way, maybe like a Murray Bridge Cup over the mile, and then go up to 2,000 or something like that is what it could potentially attack in the not too distant future.
I always just like to use this as an example when people say, the best horse in the race, rah, rah, rah. In the Congo beat Animo in a Golden Rose.
Yes.
and that was just purely track pattern and intent.
Yeah.
Like, this is what happens in racing, speed maps and mapping them correctly and tempo. It's not just best horse. It was best horse. There'd be no betting. But that is a great game we play, Paulie. And thanks for jumping on. Now, before I let you go, though, you've got a best bet for us at Sandown tomorrow.
I do. Now, can a trainer of their own horse actually steal your thunder as a punter? Can that actually happen?
when Mitch Beer trains for you, or Will Friedman, I'd say.
Race 2, number 1 tomorrow at Sandown Lakeside. Algorithmic. Wayne
hang on a
Hawkes.
minute.
He gave it a massive push yesterday on air, and I actually asked the boys, did Hawksy give a push to Algorithmic on means test? And we weren't really sure, and then
he did.
You and the lads have just gone whack. So
he certainly did.
Inside gate, B Shin. First up, second prep, gelded. Really like the jump outs as well. Very, very quiet. And I think I know the Hawks team love to utilise those inside barriers. So
don't they ever?
Looks to be a very, very good play tomorrow. That's my only play at Sandown.
I'll text Saki Tunbridge. I'll say that's going to be our Bet365 boost, even though Miles will probably, I'm sure Miles will be in the chair tomorrow. He'll make the same decision, but we'll get ahead of the curve there, and the listeners will all be around Algorithmic. Paulie, thanks for your time, mate.
Thank you, mate. Go well this morning.
The midweek masterclass, we'll go through those plays. Mark Roden was keen. Race 4, number 4, the Enchanter. Race 7, number 10, Unusual Prospect. That was, of course, at Canterbury. Chris O'Nelson and Doomben. Race 4, number 2, Keatil. Race 6, number 11, Lady Lucifer. And race 8, number 4, Pharaoh's Prophecy. Sandown Lakeside and Morfettville will kick off. Sandown Lakeside, Mitchie Lewis. Race 2, number 1, Algorithmic. Paul Sebastiani also keen on that galloper at Morfettville. Race 1, number 4, Laws Wars. And race 4, number 1, Be Responsible. That is the midweek masterclass. Let's take the news and we'll be back with Bag of Tips.
Powered by Signet, making SEN News headlines. Melbourne has lost patience with Simon Goodwin axing the 2021 Premiership coach. Concerns of escalating violence in Gaza, with Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu ordering the IDF to occupy all remaining areas of the Palestinian territory. Sean Diddy Combs has again been denied bail as he awaits sentencing for sex trafficking offences. The disgraced rapper has been held behind bars since being found guilty last month. And ahead of the real thing next year, up to 60,000 households across Australia will take part in a census test run tonight. Coming up, SEN Sport. The Gold Coast CEO has clarified reports that the Suns are trying to dump its $2 million deal to play in Darwin. On SEN, Mark Evans says they will play the final year of the deal next year and will review it going forward.
Darwin's been terrific. It's been a great partnership, brilliant people, and we've got a really good record there. We're contracted for 2026, and I think we're more likely to continue beyond that.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy Up with Gareth Hall. The Giddy Up Bag of Tips for Oz Equipment Rentals. Supplying equipment to the construction, mining and roadworks industries. OzEquipment.com.
Yes, Bag of Tips with Bet365 Tote Plus. You get the best payout across all three national totes. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. And Bag of Tips brought to you by the Ultima Hotel in the heart of the Mallee, just down the road from Swan Hill. Swing by for a cold beer. And Oz Equipment Rentals, supplying equipment to the construction, mining and roadworks industries. OzEquipmentRentals.com. Mitchy Lewis for the great-tip-off.com. You can get all his full set there. We'll go to Wodonga. Race 1, number 8, Above Me. And you're looking to bookend the program there. Race 8, number 2, Star Rapper. That's at Wodonga. 1, 8, and 8, 2. Luke Ovanessian from the great-tip-off.com. He heads to Maria today. Race 4, number 9, Cool Bird. And race 6, number 9, Ackerson. That's race 4, number 9. And race 6, number 9, Ackerson there. Amanda Rando, Harness Racing, New South Wales, the home of the Carnival Cups, where Australian music royalty meets quality harness racing action. She's got 2 plays for us at Young at the harness tonight. Race 3, number 2, Miss Tiger, and race 5, number 3, Uncle J. That's race 3, number 2, and race 5, number 3. And Darren Carroll, Shepparton, we head to for Daz. Race 2, number 10, Turbo J, and race 5, number 3, Postit Lafitte. That's 2, 10, 5, and 3. We spoke about this young lady yesterday. She is a star on the rise. She produced 2 Metro winners on Saturday. We're going to have a chat with Anna Roper, but this is what she did on Saturday.
Then Sunshine Law, Lady Extreme Sis today being roused along between runners. Pippi Beach back on the inside. African Daisy's coming back to them quickly. Sunshine Law hits the lead from Super Norwest. Pippi Beach, Sister Days in a dead end. Sunshine Beach takes the Sunshine Law. Sunshine Law clinging on. Sunshine Law won it by a half length to either Pippi Beach.
Anna Roper, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, doing well. More importantly, how are you? 2 winners at Rose Hill on Saturday. You're in super form. You were aboard without parallel, and of course, we just heard the win of Sunshine Law. Good to see you riding in good form. How's it feel competing, with the biggest names in the Sydney jockey room?
Yeah, it's been a great start to the season. I couldn't ask for much more. It's challenging going up against the best, but I feel like it only makes you better when you ride with other people that are at that level.
It certainly does. Talk to us about Denim One, and you had 2 rides for her on Saturday, Sunshine Law and Moncahana. Are you riding track work up there, or how does that association come about?
Yeah, I do jump on a horse for her every now and then, but she's a pretty good friend of mine as well, and obviously I've been apprentice at Wyong my whole career, so it's quite a tight-knit little family there, and we've always been close, so she does put me on a lot, and her owners have been big supporters of mine, so it was amazing to get a city winner for her. We've been trying and gotten close a few times, but to finally tick that off, I was really proud of her and really happy for it to be me to do it.
Big moment up at Wyong, no doubt. Track work would have been pretty good the last few days.
Yeah, everyone's been pretty excited about it. Just really happy for her.
You rode without parallel for Maddie Dunn in the highway. That horse looks, blessed with plenty of ability. Where do you think, where do you think his ceiling is?
Look, she's definitely above average for a country horse. It's whenever form comes out of sort of Queensland down to the highways, they're usually competitive. I won a highway on a horse a couple of weeks ago that had been running well up in Queensland as well. So it's easy to trust that form line. But yeah, she's definitely above average. She put them away very nicely, and it's hard to say where her ceiling is. She's obviously unbeaten, so she's doing a really good job and just keeps improving.
Of course, she's a mare by time test. My apologies to the owners out there. Do you think that she has the ability to get to a Kosciuszko level?
Oh, I wouldn't know. But look,
Did she give you a good
definitely
feel?
She gave me a great feel. I didn't ask too much of her. Like, she wasn't pushed to the full extent, and she was never challenged. So it's nice to see her just put a field away very easily like that.
You've overcome a few injuries over the past few years. You're riding in career best form. I assume you've got a pretty strong team around you. Talk to me about the team around you, and maybe if you've got some mentors in the game that keep you on the right path.
Yeah, I'm managed by Drew Smith, and he does a great job. I speak to him pretty much every day, and we go through my rides and everything like that. So he's really good to me, keep me in line when I maybe give a bad one or something happens, and he's good to always check in with, and he's been in the game a long time, so he's really helpful. And my boss is fantastic. I couldn't ask for a better boss. He lets me ride a lot of outside work, and if I need to get off one of his to jump on another horse, he's always open to the idea. So I've got a great team around me, and they're just very supportive, and obviously a lot of injuries, and it does take a toll on your body and everything. And just now that I'm riding consistently, it's more looking after myself so I can keep riding consistently without falling into another injury.
Yep, and you're fully fit now. All the injuries, no niggles or anything giving you any bothers?
No, I keep up at the physio a lot just to keep everything in check and make sure nothing slips. So, yeah, they do a great job at keeping me fit and well.
You got a few nice rides there tomorrow. You're aboard one for Chris Waller, Maddie Smith, Mark Cross, Nassim Dilmy, and Linda Olsen. Is this your first ride for Chris, or have you ridden for him before?
I've had one ride for him at the Provincials a long time ago, but it's nice to get back on board. Obviously, a lightweight ride, get the weight down to 52, so it's good to be able to ride light like that. It opens up a few more doors for me, so it's quite exciting. But yeah, a nice book of rides for a few different trainers.
Certainly is. Have you been through those rides yet? Which is the best chance of a Wednesday at Canterbury?
I haven't had too much of a look yet, but Sarah Ryan's horse, if he can handle the wet track, I'd say he'd run well. Obviously, Chris's is in the market, and no weight on his back on a wet track is always a big positive. So, there's a couple that should run well.
Any horses that you're keen to get on in the spring or stay aboard moving forward? Obviously, the 2 kilo claims are very, very important to you, but any horses you're looking forward to staying on as you might get to some listed or group races throughout the Spring Carnival?
I'd love to say yes and have one to follow, but I've got a couple that are coming back, particularly one for Kim Moore that I rode not long ago. He's just come back from a spell. Mogul Monarch. He's just trialling up at the minute. Ran around in a provincial championship, so for him to get back on the track would be nice. But just open to hopefully some good opportunities this season. A few lightweights would be nice.
Love that. From my personal experience, we've never met, but I have a fair bit to do with Nige, who works for Ross McConville, and the tactics around a horse by the name of South of India. And I was very impressed in your ability to take some advice that he may have had on board to ride that horse a little bit faster. And you rode that to a T that day. That's a really good sign of a young jockey on the way up, just pure coachability and the ability to listen. It's going to hold you in good stead moving forward. How do you find South of India as a horse?
He's a really fun horse to ride for exactly that reason. Ross said that day, I just don't think he likes having anything around him, and just to let him roll out in front with a claim was a bit of fun to do. And yeah, trainers know their horses so well, and it's important to listen to what they say and take on their advice. And look, he's probably up to that grade. He gets down in the weights when he does go up to listed grade, so I'd love to stick with him if I could. And I definitely do think he's up to it.
Yeah, he's got a big heart. He keeps on putting in. What does the next season look for you, Anna? Any goals? Are you a goal setter, or you just sort of take every week as it comes?
Take every week as it comes, because my career's been so stop-start the whole way through. But this season, if I can stay in the saddle the full season, and a big goal would be to ride 100 winners. I mean, I missed the first couple months of last season, and we got pretty close. So to just be able to ride a full season out and aim for 100 winners, and obviously the Metro Premiership in Sydney is the main goal, but it's going to be a tough competition this season.
Have saddle will travel. I've seen you willing to ride pretty much all across New South Wales. I assume that'll still be the case moving forward?
Yeah, I just love riding, and I love going to the races. So any opportunities that pop up, I definitely go. I think I've got Tamworth on Thursday, probably Port Macquarie on Friday, and even Dubbo on Sunday because my boss is taking a few out there. So I just love riding. So as much riding as I can do, the better.
Fantastic. Awesome. Thanks so much for your time this morning, Anna. Keep dominating. We love seeing you out in the track, and you're doing good things, and look forward to watching your career closely as it continues on with great success. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. There she is, Anna Roper, an absolute star. Looking forward to following her career. Let's take a break. 0499 736 736, and we'll come back. We'll catch up with Jake Watkins from Thoroughbred Sales, and then we've got the Bet 365 Country Racing Hour.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. Mick, Gannon in the chair. Thoroughbred Sales new $4 million race series. More information at thoroughbredsales.com.au. And to talk more about what this exciting initiative is from Thoroughbred Sales, I welcome Jake Watkins.
Morning, Mick. How are you, mate?
Yeah, doing well, Jake. Thanks for coming on, mate. Thoroughbred Sales' exciting $4 million race series is ready to take off and set to deliver meaningful prize money boosts to provincial racing across 5 states. Provincial racing is pretty close to my heart. Talk to us about this initiative.
So we launched our race series at the back end of last year to our clients, our trainers and our syndicators. And with the concept, what we're trying to set out is to obviously boost prize money in the country provincial meetings, but also try and help the owners that are coming into these horses that don't get a Group 1 champion and but can still run around and get some good prize money. Try and get those owners as much of their return on investment back as possible, which obviously helps industry and help those owners come in on horses with those trainers and syndicators year on year and really help boost those stables and keep them strong in the country and provincial circuit.
Love that. And how do we get involved? We just go to the website, purchase a horse, and then a horse that's eligible for the race. Is that sort of goes around, wins a race, and away we go?
Pretty much, yeah. So obviously come to Thoroughbred Sales, check out all the horses we've got. Most of them are nominated for the race series, so it is up to the trainer and the syndicator to obviously make sure they are eligible and just check out the listing for the logo to confirm that they are in. And away you go. Yep, just race as per normal, and we've attached our bonuses to 400 races over the next 3 years, with 75 in the first year, and we've just released our calendar for this racing season with those first 75 only this week.
Outstanding. Is all that information up on the website?
Yeah, so just go to thoroughbredsales.com.au. You can check out obviously the horses that are in. There's some shares left in some all across the country, and there's also all the information there on the race series, and the calendar's up there now too, so you can check out what tracks that they're going to be run at.
How good's that? And these bonuses applied to predominantly the 2-year-olds there, maiden races in each state, so definitely supporting the horses at the early stage of their career.
Yeah, so we've only taken yearlings on for the first year, so obviously from the start of this year through the yearling sales season, we've put all those eligible horses in. So the first block of races obviously only for 2-year-olds, because that's all that's in the series for the first year. And obviously as we build through those years, the 3-year-olds and the 4-year-olds and beyond, the bonuses will be applied to those races throughout the country as well.
Beautiful. Jake, love your time. Thanks for jumping on Giddy Up this morning. Jake Watkins, Thoroughbred Sales. All we got to do, head to thoroughbredsales.com.au and get involved. Thanks for your time, Jake.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Mick.
There he is, Jake Watkins. Make sure you get involved there. Let's take a break. Then we're going to come back with Bet365 Country Racing Hour.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. Live across Australia on SEN Track. Giddy up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. Brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead for free and confidential support. Visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Of course, we are live streaming on the SEN app as well as Facebook and YouTube. Coming up, a big Bet365 Country Racing Hour. Our guests include Reese Goodwin, Cody Morgan, Shane Jackson after Highland Blaze took out the Grand National Hurdle on Sunday. We'll catch up with Holly Nottle. What a lineup we have for you. Right after the news, we'll be back. Bet365 Country Racing Hour.
Powered by Signet. Good morning. I'm Nath Gardner with SEN News. AFL first, Melbourne is without a head coach after the D's sacked 2021 Premiership winning coach Simon Goodwin. He's the latest to part ways with the club. Almost 12 months ago, Kate Roffey stepped down as president, followed by CEO Gary Pert. On SEN, former Melbourne skipper Gary Lyons says clearly the club did not see Goodwin as part of the future.
Playing decisions and missed decisions, and I guess in their own mind there was no good having Simon involved in that if he's not going to coach next year. It's pretty swift and it's pretty brutal, but that's the game of footy. It's a brutal business we're in.
The youngest of the Snowtown Killers could find out today if he'll be released on parole. James Vlasakis was just 19 when he was convicted for his role in 4 of the 11 murders in the 1990s. Accomplice Mark Hayden was released last year after serving 25 years. A woman has faced court after being charged by the AFP with foreign interference. The Chinese national, who is also a permanent Australian resident, has been allegedly spying on a Buddhist group in Canberra. Beijing is reportedly trying to eradicate the group. More arrests are expected. The Home Affairs Department says it's denying visas at levels never seen before to protect the nation's social cohesion. And with the Crows in with a genuine shot of featuring in the last weekend of September, there is anger from Adelaide fans over soaring plane fares. Fares to Melbourne over the grand final weekend have surged to nearly triple the average weekend prices. Coming up next, SEN Sport. Just repeating, Simon Goodwin, Melbourne's first premiership winning coach since 1964, has been given his marching orders. It's after missing finals for the past 2 seasons. He had a year to run on his contract. And Alexei Popyrin is facing Alexander Zverev in the quarterfinals of the Canadian Open. Fellow Aussie Alex de Minaur faces American Ben Shelton tomorrow.
for Bet365, the world's favourite online betting company. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858. Live on SEN Track. Giddy Up's Country Racing Hour.
List with Morris at the inside and bring forth the outer, followed by Untethered as they reach the 150. Morissette drives through to lead from Bringforth, then Untethered Schultze. Morissette with 50 metres to go. Schultze's going to lunge late, but Morissette's holding on, and Morissette has won it.
You love to see it. Morissette getting the job done there on Sunday at Sandown as I welcome in a young man who's on a mission. His mission is to train more winners. Reese Goodwood, good morning.
Hello, Mickey. Gannon, great man. Great to be speaking with you.
Good morning, Reese.
You got me, mate?
Reese, good morning.
Hey, mate. How we going?
Doing well, mate. Out the back of country Victoria again, just looking for the worst possible reception this morning.
Oh, well, quite frankly, I'm on my way from Royal Tynong all the way out to Wodonga, so I'm heading in your direction, actually.
Oh, you got a long way to go there, mate. Mate, you're on fire. Stable's absolutely flying. Morissette got the job done there and bounced back in good fashion. Horse has been good to you.
Yeah, she's been a ripper. Picked her up for 4,000 through English Digital through the broodmare section. She wasn't retired. She had previous bleeding issues. We've been able to keep on top of that. She's won twice at the midweeks, once on a Thursday night at Pakenham. I think she's banked out over 100 and something thousand since we've had her, which we haven't had it for too long. So yeah, she's been a ripper for the stable, and she's a flag bearer as to what we can do with some of these horses and really turn their form around. So it was a terrific result on Sunday, that's for sure.
Certainly was. 42 wins last season in Victoria. Top 20, as I read this off your X profile, but 38 country wins last season. For a man that dominated the picnic scenes as a jockey, and I actually fell upon this, your strike rate as a jockey was sensational, Reece. But what does it mean to win so many races in country Victoria?
Yeah, they basically called me the Joe Maria of the picnics, mate. Look,
did Joe struggle with his weight, did he?
Yeah, apart from that part, probably. Yeah, probably the only difference I'd say between the two of us. But yeah, look, it was a terrific season, mate. It's my third full season of training. Each year we've gone up in winners. I don't know if we're going to be able to better it this season, but we'll certainly try hard. To be in the top 20 trainers in Victoria and just to see your name in amongst those other trainers, it's a massive thrill. And to be quite honest, I probably didn't pitch myself here within the first 3 years. So, of course, you've got to have a great team around you. You've got to have great owners supporting you, and plenty of luck along the way. So, yeah, it was a great season, and we've kick-started it well so far with a couple of winners from just 4 runners this season, and currently sitting third on the premiership. Don't know how long that'll last, but I'll keep trying to stay there.
Yeah, we just had Beery on not so long ago. He's sitting second on the New South Wales as well. So watch out. Will Freeman not too far away. Lots might change over the next 361 days, mate. But look, you must pinch yourself. You know, as you said, top 20 of trainers in Victoria. When you look at some of those names on that list, and probably some that are underneath you as well, you must think, you know, what a journey I guess the 3 years has been for you personally. But what a big achievement that really is.
Yep, no doubt about it. You know. I didn't really know where I sat in the premiership for most of the season until it got closer, and a few people mentioned I'd snuck into the top 20. So then it became, you know, a little bit of a goal to stay in there. Just before the end of the season, I got out of there, and someone else replaced me, and then I was able to get a winner on the Monday before the end of the season, which got me in there. But I didn't have any runners for the last few days, so I was holding on. And yeah, just wrap. You know, as I've just said, you know, you've got to have a great team around. You've got a lot of good workers. We get a lot of tried horses, broken down horses that we have to rejuvenate and turn around. And to get them back in form, you've also got the right people around you. So yeah, it's been a stellar season. Fingers crossed we can better it again this season. Obviously, we want to set ourselves in town more often. Lovely Cup's not too far back. If she can, you know, win a black type race, that'll really help. You know, kick us off and hopefully, you know, get us to the next level.
You see the big risk takers in the game, they tend to be rewarded more often than not. Where do you see yourself sort of sit in that regard? I think it was only about probably close to 9 months ago, yourself, Gareth Hall and I sat there at Inglis Sales, and we twisted your rubber arm and encouraged you to go hard and put a decent sized bid in on that day. Are we going to see more of that in the future?
Yeah, look, that particular horse, Gannon, he's not much good, I don't think. So thanks to you and Chief for that. That's really good for the business, boys. Thank you.
You'd invoice Gareth for that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't reckon he's on 30 days, is he?
No.
No, look, I've taken risks from day one. I mean, when I started, I just started out with literally $10,000 in one horse and built my business up to what it is now. So continue to take risk. You won't get anywhere without taking risks. So I lashed out earlier this year and brought a really nice Guy's colt out of the Magic Moons for 140, which is the most expensive horse I've brought so far, and he's showing some really good signs. The crop of yearlings I've brought this year, I'm really excited for the next sort of 6 to 12 months. If things go well, I reckon I can have a couple of 2-year-old runners before Christmas. But there's just some really nice horses there. Getting up in the morning isn't easy, but I've found it a lot easier in the last few months with some of the horses I've got in the boxes. So we've got a nice, neat number of 30 at Pakenham. We don't want to expand on numbers. We just want to expand on quality. And I certainly think we're heading in the right direction.
You speak of those young, 2-year-olds and obviously yearlings turning 2 and, in a stable your size, you don't have, the access to 20, 30, 40 that many of the big stables have. And, they can sort of put them through the system and get rid of the ones that appear to be slow or poorly mannered. You don't really have that luxury. Are you always cautious with these youngsters, or are you just, handlebars down, we've got to get them to this point? What's your theory there?
Yeah, look, it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I'm certainly not a trainer that pushes my horses. I mean, I obviously have started my business through having tried horses. So I see a lot of horses that have been pushed early, have issues not only mentally but physically. So I'm very careful of that. But that's why we like to try and pick the right horses out of the sales that look like they have good attitudes, good breeding, that they might have something through the family that have got to the races early, so that we're not pressing horses that shouldn't be there. So, Lovely Cut one as a 2-year-old, but Monzi wasn't able to win as a 2-year-old, but he placed in a Blue Diamond Preview, and then, placed in a Taj Rossi up to a mile at the back end of the season. So we feel like we've found a formula that works with our young horses, and if they sort of get themselves to the races, they will. And if they show that, they need time and they're not going to be hitting the track till 3-year-old, well, we're given that time. But that's where you got to, do your right research when you go to the stage. You want to buy the horse that you like. You're not just sort of putting your hand up, just because it looks okay or whatnot. You want to have a really good history on the breeding and the horses that can get to the races early to obviously give your owners a quick, return for investment. That's what we're all after. We all want to put our money in and try and get a return as quick as possible. But I understand you've got to do it in a sensible way, and you've got to put the horse first.
What's the future hold for Reece Goodwin? What's the goals for this year?
Look, I'm not much of a goal setter, in all honesty, Gannon. Each year I do want to train more winners than what I did the previous year, but obviously there's going to come a point where that's probably unachievable if I'm not building my numbers. As I said, we're at a neat 30 boxes at Pakenham, and I think that'll stay like that for now. More city winners, and I'd love to get I haven't had a stakes winner yet. I think I've had 3 or 4 placings, so probably a stakes winner or a group winner. Lovely Cut seems to have come back in good order. She might be up firing for a Cockerham at the end of the month. For Monzi, he'll have a short break if he can sort of make his mark as a 3-year-old that gets over a trip throughout the spring. They're probably my 2 biggest seeds. And then, as I said, 2-year-olds come for Christmas. I think that'll be a good achievement. But not setting any huge goals. It's very much an industry that can kick you down very quickly with some, just some bad luck. So we'll just focus on quietly and try and produce as many winners as possible and give our owners a good experience and a good return of investment.
Love your work. I tell you who loves your work. Cal, he says off the text line, tell Reece I love that video of him about training when he's sledging the Hayes brothers. Loved it. Good sense of humour, and he loves the kid. Are you doing much social media work at the moment?
Not a lot at the moment, no. Not finding a lot of time for that, to be fair. As I said, I'm on the road to Wodonga today, so doing a lot of the hands-on stuff and the driving myself. But the lab race video was a beauty. I had a lot of fun doing that, and plenty of sledging, which happens on a daily occurrence there at Tynong. There's a great team there, so hopefully there's some more videos and content going out for all the followers. And big thank you to Cal.
Beautiful. Hey, Wodonga, Bomb Biscuit today, race 7, number 12. You're getting around $18 with Bet365. What are its chances? Long way to go, and I reckon you'll be strapping as well, so you might be looking for an extra fee.
Absolutely, Gannon. Now, look, I'm not teeming with confidence, but I certainly didn't want to be driving this far for it to just follow them around either. So, first run for the stable, trolled up okay. Think it should get a good run from the soft draw, and I wouldn't be shocked at all if she was somewhere in the money at nice each way odds. I will admit, I've had a little bit of my own on at the early side of about 30 to 1, a little bit, nothing big. I just sort of went up and strong. Who's on the buttons there?
Paulie Sebastiani. Fine work.
Very good, elite. So, I think she can run well. She'll need a little bit of room at some stage from the inside draw, but I certainly hope I'm not driving 4.5 hours for nothing, that's for sure.
Any threat you just show a bit of intent, mate, and land the leaders back?
We'll go with Lewis Willoughby's call, Just lead on it.
Our man Louis. Is he in any good horses with you? Lovely cut. Is he in that horse?
No.
Or does he just get involved in the slow ones?
Yeah, he's in Let's Trot, and my hand up there, and I've told the guys in Let's Trot that I can't get the horse going, so we've sent him down to Shane Jackson at Warrnambool, who is absolutely flying, and I hope he can get him going. So Lewis is already blowing up about the fees and whatnot. Not that he pays his bills, but fingers crossed, Let's Trot can pull his finger out.
Well, he's a racing media personality, mate. He doesn't pay his bills. But we, funnily enough, a coincidence as such, we have Shane Jackson on later on in the Bet365 Country Hour. So I'll ask him about Let's Trot and see how that horse is travelling. You got one tomorrow going around British Poet around the 50 to 1 with Bet365. What's his chances?
He'll need the run, Gannon. Need the first start run over 1,200. Hopefully he gets a good run from the draw. Like to see him hit the line. Probably one for the punters to look at, second and third up around 1,400.
Beautiful. One to follow for the throughout the spring carnival, Reese.
Look, I'll make it Lovely Cut because she is my main horse, and she hasn't been sighted since the 1,000 guineas last season. So it's been a while. She's had a little setback, but she seems in really good order, and she's got a lot of talent, and she's really improved from her 3-year-old years. So she's the one I'm most excited about. Whether she's going to be winning a black type race or not now that she's a 4-year-old, we'll obviously wait and see. But I think she's in good order, and hopefully we see her at the end of the month. Beautiful,
love your work. Hey, Reese, if you want to get involved in your stable, how do we do that?
You can go straight to the website, reesegoodwinracing.com.au, or you can hit us up on any of the socials, Facebook, X, Instagram. I basically operate all of them myself, so you'll be talking to me. So get involved. Plenty of lovely young horses on there, and we're always buying tried horses, and the emails get sent out to everyone. So get involved, punters.
Beautiful. You're a star, mate. Thanks for jumping on. Good luck today, and good luck for the rest of the season, mate.
Cheers, Gannon. Have a good one.
There he is, Reese Goodwin. Let's take a break, and then we're going to come back. We're going to chat with one of the stars of New South Wales country racing. He's up there at Tamworth. His name is Cody Morgan. We'll catch up with him right after the break.
for Bet365, the world's favourite online betting company. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858. Live on SEN Track. Giddy Up's Country Racing Hour.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. Brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. Imagine what you could be buying instead for free and confidential support. Visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. And of course, we are live streaming on the SEN app as well as Facebook and YouTube. This is the Bet365 Country Racing Hour. As I welcome in the man who's dominating proceedings up there at Tamworth. Good morning to you, Cody Morgan.
Good morning, Mick.
Mate, last 50 runners striking at 30%, dominating proceedings up there. You've got a new establishment, a new sort of training setup, I should say. Managed to get up there, and you gave me a tour of it about 6 months ago. Things are all on the up and the up for you.
Yeah, we sort of made the decision a couple of years ago to sort of move off track, and it's taken a couple of years to sort of get it finished. A little bit here and there now, but the horses have been going really good since we've been out here.
How's the weather been up there? Plenty of rain in New South Wales. Have you managed to dodge the wet weather, or is it as a court Tamworth?
No, we haven't. We've had I think I've had about 3 washed out meetings in the last sort of 10 days. Like nothing like the coastal, but like Taree and places like that. But it's still been very wet here the last sort of 10 days.
What does that do for you as a trainer? And obviously you don't have a whole heap of horses in work, but you've got more than enough to be affected. When you get spells of rain like this, it's obviously very hard to place your horses. What do you do, ticking them over wise?
I like to trial them just so that they're up to the mark when the races do come back around. Everyone sort of does it differently, but sort of lucky we've got we can swim them, and we've got a treadmill here, and that's been really handy the last 3 or 4 days. But then as soon as the trials are on, I like to just even a mid-prep trial just to keep ticking over so that when they go back to the races, hopefully they're not just gassing out and run midfield. They're picking up a check.
Yeah, for sure. And you've been picking up plenty of checks of late. Snap Decision, Considered's won twice, in fact. A Colt, Hell with a Smile, recent winners of yours. Social Outcast, getting the job done. Spanish Night, Poison and Sun, plenty of winners for you. I noticed you've picked up a couple of new horses in your stable. Waitley, a horse that quite a few of our Victorian listeners would be accustomed to seeing go around. How's he fitted into Tamworth?
He's currently spelling down at Australian Bloodstocks. They purchased him, but I think he's going to come up in the next fortnight. We just bought a horse with mailbag with a maidener, Viella. She's just come back into work. We sort of got her, and she sort of had a decent size preparation to where we spelled her and give her a good break up here, and she spelled really well. And we just continue to try and keep buying those provincial placed maideners out of Victoria. They fit in very well in our area.
Yep. In regards to your new training setup, and we talked about it, and I've seen it, it's phenomenal. It's as good as you'll see anywhere. How many country trainers would have a similar setup to you? It seems to be, are you one out there, or are plenty of have them, we just don't get to see them?
I'd like to think I've poured my heart and soul into it the last couple of years, and I think that even when I went to do it, I didn't realise how big a job it would be. Like literally today, they're still finishing off, but there's probably about 6 or 8 tradesmen here. The last couple of days just finishing different things and what have you. But I'd like to think I'm probably, there wouldn't be too many. I wouldn't imagine. I just think that if horses are coming from the city environment, you're not going to out-train a lot of the brilliant trainers that you're buying them off. But if you can give that horse a completely different environment, sometimes they really pick up and thrive.
Who's been the best horse you've had in your training career, Cody?
I would say Ligulate. He's been he won $500,000 for us. Being trained out of Tamworth, and he was terrific. We picked him up off Godolphin, and I think same thing. We sort of got him mid prep there one time, and he went straight to Rose Hill and won a 3-year-old race and won a country championship qualifier, and he ran in country championship finals. Kosciuszko goes, won multiple times in Brisbane. So, and he won a Tamworth Cup. So yeah, he was probably so far the best one.
Best one at the stable at the moment. Who's the stable favourite?
I'd have to say a horse I've only given one start to called Occult, OCCULT. Same thing, an ex-Godolphin horse. He started, I think, $1.18 or something here probably a month ago. And, yeah, he was very short. Won well, and then obviously he's been affected by the wet weather. So we just kept him ticking over, and he'll run again hopefully in the next sort of fortnight.
You're always active on the online sales. You ever picking up any yearlings, or do you have plans, visions to do that moving forward?
I do, for sure. Probably the last 2 seasons I haven't bought too many because I've sort of poured all the resources into the stables at home. But, we'll continue to amp up now, and now that I'm not paying for steel and gravel and cement, I'll try and buy a few more tried horses, and I wouldn't buy any more than a handful of yearlings next year, but I think we probably bought 3 or 4 last year. We started out this year, and we'll go again and sort of buy a handful again next year. But with the tried horses, we sort of try to be as disciplined as possible, and just keep picking through them and trying to get maideners off English Digital, which has been really good.
Yep, absolutely working well. You've got 28 horses to your name at the moment. How many more could you fit in under your name there?
Probably with 28, we've only sort of got 20 in at any time. We've got 25 stables, and then I like to turn them over quite quickly. If they're not getting a return on investment for their owners, at least paying their way. It's even though we're at Tamworth, we're sort of racing a lot of the city stables quite often. So you need a pretty talented horse to be even in this area. So we're always turning them over.
Yeah, I thought I might have seen a Robin Annabelle Archibald horse and maybe a Waterhouse Bot turn up that way the other day, and I thought, gee whiz, times are changing, that's for sure. And now back to your setup there at Tamworth, those boxes, they're the biggest boxes I've ever seen. Great setup for the horses.
Yeah, no, literally, and we just put big windows in the stables literally yesterday and today, so it's starting to look really good. Just really big boxes, keep them as happy as possible, and the horses. The one thing everyone comes out here sort of says how calm the horses are, and I think it's just the environment that we've tried to create for them, and we can get them out in paddocks throughout the day, and with the treadmill there, and we've got a 50-metre pool that we swim them in. It's sort of got everything here that we could possibly want, and we're sort of 40 minutes across to. Obviously, my main track is Tamworth, but then sort of once a week we might duck over to Gunnedah and work them over there because there's sort of probably only 15 or 20 horses in work there, so we've sort of got a couple of tracks that we utilise.
You rarely miss. Obviously, the new setup's working. That strike rate just continues to go from good to great. Any horses that we can follow? The listeners are pretty keen. A few text messages here, 0499 736 736. Keep sending them in, but they want to know, Cody, give us one horse to follow from your stable that we can have a bet on next time it goes to the races.
I would probably say a Colt. Now, I know I reckon he'll be a price all the same because I'm putting him in a Class 3 off a maiden win, so you know how difficult that is to do, and that's obviously what I think of the horse. So I reckon they'll bet a price about him, probably $3 or $4, even though in that vicinity he probably won't get Aaron Bullock's weight, so obviously straight away he'll be probably a touch longer in the odds than what he would be with Aaron on. But yeah, maiden to Class 3, tough to do, but I think you can do it here Friday week.
Love that. And that's at Tamworth?
Yes, yeah.
Awesome. All right, there you go. One for the Black Book there, a Colt up at Tamworth. in a couple of weeks' time. Any horses listeners can get involved in, mate, before we let you go?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, that mare that we picked up with Mailbag, Viella, just come back into work. I give her a spell when we got her, and she's literally first week in, and not exactly the type of horse that we try and buy. Ran a couple of seconds down in Victoria, good gap to third, and within sort of 3 months we're back at the races and hopefully winning first up. So I'd say Viella be a good one to get into, and just go to our website and go from there.
Beautiful. Love your work, Cody. Thanks for your time this morning, mate. Keep dominating. Look forward to following you for the rest of the season.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me on, Mick.
There he is, Cody Morgan, absolute star on the rise. He's got the facility to boot, and he'll continue to go from strength to strength. Let's take the 10:30 news, and we'll come back with Shane Jackson and Holly Knottle.
Powered by Signet, making SEN News headlines. Melbourne has lost patience with Simon Goodwin, axing the 2021 Premiership coach. Concerns of escalating violence in Gaza, with Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu ordering the IDF to occupy all remaining areas of the Palestinian territory. Sean Diddy Combs has again been denied bail as he awaits sentencing for sex trafficking offences. The disgraced rapper has been held behind bars since being found guilty last month. And ahead of the real thing next year, up to 60,000 households across Australia will take part in a census test run tonight. Coming up, SEN Sport. Port Adelaide's Travis Boak has announced he's hanging up the boots at season's end. If he plays the final 3 games, the 3-time All-Australian will finish on 387 matches. He's also won 2 Best and Fairest awards. And Alexei Popyrin has won the first set of his quarter-final match against Alexander Zverev at the Canadian Open.
For Bet365, the world's favourite online betting company. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858. Live on SEN Track. Giddy Up's Country Racing Hour.
Highland Blaze finds reserves at the 150. 3 lengths to right now, Affluential Loft. Highland Blaze, this has been a fantastic performance, is going to lead virtually all of the way in the Grand National. Highland Blaze, 4 lengths.
What a performance that was in the Grand National Hurdle on Sunday. Highland Blaze, very, very good out in front. Proved too tough for him. And the trainer of that galloper, Shane Jackson, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are we going?
Doing very well. Congratulations. That was some win by Highland Blaze.
It was super, yeah. Thank you very much. It was, tough win from an incredible horse. You know, he's been a marvel since I got him, and he never seems to disappoint.
The stable's flying. I was looking here. 10 winners from your last 24. That's a little bit cherry picking, but just absolutely flying. The strike rates through the roof. How many, just having a look here, mate, how many runners? 161 career runners to date, but at the moment, 22% strike rate. That's phenomenal stuff, Shane. You're low flying, mate.
Well, hopefully I can keep it going and people can take notice of it. I really do. It's something I do strive on a strike rate. I think it shows a sign of somebody that's sort of placing them right anyway and doing the right thing by the horses. But if we can keep the strike rate up, and hopefully a few more owners can jump on the bandwagon and we can keep building the team, because yeah, I'm loving what we're doing, and I'd love to get bigger.
Seen plenty of good trainers come out of Warrnambool. How do you find training down there?
Yeah, Warrnambool's great. Warrnambool's great. You know, we've a little niche, you know, with the access to the beach and swimming behind a rowboat. I've another beach down the way that I can gallop on, and it's good. The driving to Melbourne can get a bit hard, you know, at the weekends or midweek, and I'm currently sort of looking into the prospect of maybe having a small team in Melbourne as well. But that's not for definite just yet. But it's a great place to train. It's a great place to live. And as you touched on before, there's a lot of good trainers down here. So we must be doing something right.
How much of an edge is the beach? You know, the ability. We spoke with Mitch Beer earlier. He's got a Kembla stable, and he sends his horses down to the beach not too far away, and he sees it as a huge, a significant part of his training regime. How significant is the beach to yours?
Oh, it's great. Look, it's you can probably keep horses, you know, you can have nice long preps. Highland Blaze, for example, you know, he's been in work. He's had 2 weeks off since before the Jericho Cup. But he's a happy horse, and once they're fit, you can maintain their fitness at the beach. As I said, you work up and down the beach, you can swim behind a rowboat. You don't need to gallop them too much once they're fit. You know, one tick over gallop a week. But the older horses especially, it really perks them up. You know, you see them when they come off the float and their ears are pricked. And yeah, it just changes things up. And you can get great success with second-hand horses. You know, we're going all right, but like realistically, most of my horses are second-hand horses that have either had enough in another place or maybe have been a little bit on sound. So it's been a great draw card for me to be able to sort of fill the stable, I suppose. But it's huge. I'd always have to have beach training in some part of my system.
Yeah, speaking of tried horses, we just had Reese Goodwin on. He said he sent Let's Trot down to you there. A few of my mates are in that horse as well. How's Let's Trot found Warrnambool life so far?
Yeah, good. He's settled in well. He's pretty straightforward. You know, that was a unexpected call from Reese to send me down a horse. He's a bloody good trainer, and but like all things, you know, if you can work in together, I suppose a change is as good as a rest. Like ourselves, if you go away for a bit of a change of scenery, you get more enthusiastic about things. So it's the same with horses, and that horse has settled in well. You know, we've get him down the beach and change things up a little bit rather than just the city life. And hopefully I can get a result for you guys and for Reese.
Yeah, it's a pretty good nod, isn't it? When, you know, other trainers are more than willing to send you a horse, you know that they very much respect you as a trainer in what you do and what you're doing, Shane.
Yeah, well, and look, same as that, you know, you respect what everyone does because it's not an easy caper. Reese does a marvelous job. But if you look after each other and don't, you know, I suppose I don't know Reese all that well, but it would never be, if somebody sends me a horse, I'm not going to try and poach their owners. I'll just try and do the best job I can by them, and then I'll obviously liaise with Reese and see what his thoughts are on different things about him. And no, look, I think we provide a good service, but a good, honest service, and straight to the point. If with any of my horses, if I think people are wasting their time or money, they'll know about it pretty quick, because it's not a cheap game, and it's more expensive. It's more expensive to train a slow one than a fast one because you're getting no return.
Isn't it ever? You're getting really good support from Tony Otterbury. What does that mean to you in the stable?
Oh, it's great. But look, I'm very fortunate. I suppose I annoyed enough people, and I've got some horses for some very good owners. You know, Tony Otterbury has 4 or 5 there now. Jerry Ryan, a huge supporter of mine from day one. When I only had a couple of horses, he sent me down a couple of tried horses and kept us ticking over. And he's a great owner, and I touch base with him quite often just to even ask him things on the business side of things, because he's a genius with the knowledge he has on that. Some great owners of the ATV team on board now. Aussie Care, obviously, with Loft. Clive Smith that owns the barn. He has a couple of horses with me. So no, with some great owners, and then some smaller syndicates too that are just as important. It's keep the whole show on the road.
Absolutely. It sounds like you're building a lovely network down there. Shane doing a fine job. Sandown Lakeside tomorrow. You've got Tiz Time going around. Thomas Preble aboard. He's been in some decent form. What do you make of the chances of Tiz Time tomorrow?
If she shows up and runs how she trialled at Castellon, I think she'll be running very, very well. She yes, one of the owners is actually involved in Highland Blaze. That's how it come down to me. She has plenty of talent. She's a bit quirky. She's a typical female. She's a bit quirky, but no, I think she definitely has plenty of talent. And I thought her jump out at Castellon was very good. So no, I'd be hopeful of a big showing tomorrow.
Fantastic. Any stable stars, any horses we need to keep an eye out for, maybe heading towards the Spring Carnival, or any winner? We'll take any winner anywhere in Victoria, Shane.
Any winner? I have a couple of nice young horses coming through, but no, like I said, I'm really trying to work on trying to attract a better style of young horse, and to start building the quality, so that we can be going down and competing. Because when it gets to springtime, I probably don't have much that's going to be heading down to those decent races, but we'll keep working, we'll keep chipping away. But no, just bits and pieces, and if we can place them right and keep getting the winners, hopefully that comes
first. Absolutely. Shane, thank you so much for your time this morning. How do we get involved in your stable? You got a website, or something we can get in touch with you on?
We do. It's I can't actually think of it at the top of my head. We just recently got a website going. My wife does all that side of things because I'm hopeless.
Well, I'll find it and I'll read it out. How's that sound?
Yeah, I'm lucky to answer the phone and send a text message. That's about the height of my technology abilities. So we do have a website there somewhere, but you'll see us on the social medias and all that, the Facebook and Instagram. We have a page, so we're not hard to find.
Beautiful. You're doing a great job, Shane. Thank you very much for your time this morning, and good luck tomorrow with his time and for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
There he is, Shane Jackson, doing a great job down there at Warrnambool. Next up, we're going to have a chat with Holly Knottle, the winner. She rode the winner of the Port Hedland Cup in Reginald. We'll do that right after the break.
for Bet365, the world's favourite online betting company. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858. Live on SEN Track. Giddy Up's Country Racing Hour. The Western Whip Around. Tune in to Racing WA TV on 7+, your ultimate destination for everything racing in the West.
But it's Reginald just in front. King Mahuta to challenge. Zeta Rock's got a length and a half to find. Reginald, King Mahuta. Reginald kicking. King Mahuta coming at it. Zeta Rock's third. But Reginald digs in. Reginald wins the cup. Reginald, what a performance from Timothy Pike and Holly
Reginald
Noddle.
getting the job done there in the Port Hedland Cup. And, of course, the jockey who was aboard Reginald, I welcome in Holly Noddle. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Absolute pleasure. You've been riding for just over 12 months now, Holly?
I've been race riding for, I think, 2 or 3 months now.
Okay, fantastic. Doing very well. 113 rides at the moment, striking at 18% your last 50. So you're a punter's power, Holly, that's for sure. What was it like to win the Port Hedland Cup?
It was amazing. The feeling, you can't describe the feeling. Just lots of emotions.
Would that be your biggest win to date?
Yeah, definitely. Biggest achievement so far.
Love your work there. That's good, isn't it? It's always nice to knock that one off. So you've been a jockey for, would you say, 113 rides, we can call it. Obviously, probably a little bit early to set huge goals, but riding plenty of winners there. Where would be the next feature race win that you'd be chasing? You're just looking for a couple of, big Saturday Metro winners at some stage down the track?
Yeah, definitely. I would say my next achievement would be getting my Saturday license and hopefully riding a winner on a Saturday.
Beautiful, love that. And you have plenty of chance to work your way towards that. You've got 2 rides at Belmont tomorrow, Squillionaire and Ari, I believe is the name. So if you could give us the best chance out of either of those 2.
Those 2, I've ridden Aria before, and she always tries super hard. So I would say that she's probably a decent chance.
And Squillionaire, drawn barrier 1 over the 1,000 metres. What do you make of his chances?
Yeah, I know Mr. Rogers always has his horses feeling super, so I wouldn't put that one to question. That probably will run a good race.
Awesome. Who's the best horse you've been aboard so far in your career, Holly?
Probably Reginald, now that he's won a cup, yeah.
Love that. That'd be a favourite for sure. Who's helped you along your way on your racing journey? Anyone that sort of stands out to you?
Yeah, it would be my mentor, Greg. He's been super helpful through my whole career. He always sits down with me and watches replays, and even when I've flown to Port Hedland or Broome, he rings me after the meeting's over and he chats to me about all my rides and gives me so much advice. And my jockey coaches as well, John Clate and Peter Hall, they're super helpful, and they always take time out of their day to talk to me about my rides and everything.
Oh, that's great. It's good to have some good support. Look, Holly, you're doing a fantastic job. We really appreciate you jumping on the Bet365 Country Racing Hour this morning. We look forward to seeing you aboard those horses tomorrow and following the rest of your career, and looking forward to seeing you racing on those Saturday Metro meetings soon enough.
Thank you.
There she is, Holly Noddle. Tune in to Racing WA TV on 7+, your ultimate destination for everything racing in the West. We'll take a break and we'll come back and wrap up what has been a big edition of Giddy Up.
for Bet365, the world's favourite online betting company. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858. Live on SEN Track. Giddy Up's Country Racing Hour.
Yes, thanks for tuning in to Giddy Up. It's Tuesday, August the 5th. Mick Gannon in the chair. Miles Fitzner will join you tomorrow. If you've missed any of our show today, we chatted with Will Freeman, Mitch Beer. We had the midweek masterclass, Mark Roden, Mitchie Lewis, Chris O'Nelson, of course, bag of tips. Reece Goodwin, we caught up with a chat with him. Cody Morgan, Shane Jackson, Holly Noddle. If you missed any of those, jump on your favourite podcast provider. Search Giddy Up with Gareth Hall. You'll be set. It's been an absolute pleasure being in the chair for the last 2 days. Miles Fitzner, he'll join you tomorrow. Have a great day. See ya.